Positioning is at the heart of brand strategy. Everything we create is a way to differentiate our client from his competitors. Getting a clear understanding of our client's value proposition and how he can be different or better for our customer is crucial in creating the right creative brief. Using competitor mapping, we can get a better overview of who our competitors are, direct and indirect. It gives you clarity and inspiration. Let's take a look at how we can map out these different competitors. Mapping competitors starts with doing research. A simple Google search can already give you some good results. Of course, there are some things you need to keep in mind when listing these competitors. Competitors should be in the same economical space, meaning a customer can choose for your brand or the other. Of course, brands can grow into the space or even out of the space, so keep that in mind when you are listing these competitors. Competitors can be more than what you are offering. Always look at it from the perspective of the customer. What need are you solving? Let's take a look at an example, Deliveroo, the online food delivery service. Its direct competitors are Grubhub, Uber Eats, Takeaway.com, and maybe you know some other ones. But from a customer standpoint, local pizza delivery or even takeaway restaurants solve a similar need, getting back that quality time for you and your family or yourself. Make sure you do your own research. Getting a list from your client isn't always enough. A lot of times it's missing some really interesting competitors. So try to create this list from different sources. Start with the direct competitors, the ones that are directly in the same economical space. So for Deliveroo, we would look at all the other ready-made food delivery services such as Grubhub and Uber Eats. Next to the most direct competitors, we have indirect competitors. These are competitors that solve a similar need for the customer but are slightly different or not in the same industry. For example, the pizza delivery restaurants or the takeaway restaurants. If you start to see a lot of similar brands pop up, it could be interesting to group them together to get more of a macro overview because, for example, there are millions of pizza delivery places, so maybe you can group them together as one just to see how it relates to your brand. The whole idea of this competitor mapping is to look beyond the average and start to get an idea of the bigger picture. For our Deliveroo example, we could see retail delivery as a new thing to look out for. It's on the horizon, it's not quite there yet, but once Walmart, for example, starts delivering food at home, they become a competitor in this customer need. As you can see, competitor mapping can give you, your client and your team a better look into how this market looks like, and it looks beyond the borders of the industry and the current moment into the future. Once we have a good idea of who all these competitors are, we can start to think about how we will take a stand among these competitors. That's what we do with positioning mapping. By defining two axes for each map, we can combine them and make the positioning even stronger and more unique. Positioning is about the place your brand takes in the customer's mind. It's how your customer perceives you within this sea of competitors. In the book Positioning, A Battle for the Mind, they talk about how each customer has a couple of slots for each category. Because of the media overload, we can only have a few favorites in each industry. Defining these axes is a daunting task. Create as many as you like, some will work better than others, don't be fearful of that. Again, with selecting these competitors, choosing these axes is all about the customer's perspective. Try to list the most important benefits and features as those axes. How do we perceive the brand? How is that valuable to us? Use these as inspiration for the axis. If we look at our Deliveroo example, we could have two axes. The price axis, which is also always a good starting point, and the other one is healthy, meaning Deliveroo could have a more healthy range than, for example, other competitors. Let's take a look at another example. Volvo is known for their safety, and of course price is another axis, and then we can see that Volvo is the premium brand that focuses on safety. Now we can start mapping out our different competitors. We can see that there's a blank spot in the healthy but cheap segment, so maybe Deliveroo could create an option for that because it's an opportunity in the market from the customer standpoint. That's an opportunity if it fits your client's strengths, of course. Back to our car brand example. Maserati lives on the left hand of the spectrum into the lifestyle where it's all about speed, while Volvo lives on the reliable end of the spectrum. They market their cars as being safe for family, and they really need to solidify this positioning by talking about safety a lot. Use benefits valuable to the customer to create these maps. Of course, this positioning mapping will help you in realizing where the brand is among its competitors, how it will take a stand, but you need to create a story around that. Don't just stop here at the positioning mapping, that's not enough. For example, if we look back at our Deliveroo example, we now know that Deliveroo wants to position itself as being a healthy brand, but also affordable or cheap. But how will we actually do that? How will it look like? How will we talk about that? How will our mission support this idea of being a healthy but cheap brand? There's a lot of things you can do, but because we know this, we already are a step further towards creating the right creative execution. Een serieuze boterham, hè dit? I really hope this video has helped you in understanding what positioning is all about and how it can help you create a better brief.